Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday Wins Live, and I'm super excited to be with you today. And I have some guests. So that's going to be very cool. Audra's in Las Vegas at the Altimetric. I think they're having a big conference this week. So she won't be with me today, but she'll be back next week. And we have a lot of wins to share. Then we have a special guest. Then we have Dana Georgiou, who is our new founding chair, Industry Intelligence. She's going to give us her what we should be paying attention to this week. But first, let me talk about new roles. We have seven incredible um, executive positions, and we're excited to talk about them and congratulate these companies. So, first up, we're going to say big congratulations to Flagstar Bank. They have just added Kathy Colligar. I don't know her. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name, but she joined as first vice president, government banking, serving government clients across Southeast Michigan. So, congrats to Flagstar Bank, innovative. Also, congrats to the Mortgage Collaborative. They have just added a new VP of Business Development, and we are thrilled. Super proud of her. Congratulations to the Mortgage Collaborative for adding Abby Villegas. She is going to be so good in that role, and all of her Athena's Council members were cheering for her. So, congratulations, TMC. What a smart ad in Abby. Also, congrats to EXP Realty. EXP Realty. Okay, so listen to this. Carmen Mercado is joining as an agent after serving as NAREP National President and Freddie Mac Director of Affordable Lending. That is very interesting. So congratulations to EXP Realty for landing Carmen Mercado. We're going to be watching what she does. That's an incredible transition and inspiring too. So congrats. Also, congrats to the Mortgage Bankers Association. They've hired a new vice president of human resources, and her name is Monica Mancia Cook. I don't know her yet, but I'm going to. Also, congrats to Simply PMG. They have announced a new co-CEO, and her name is Valerie Madiedo. So congrats to Simply PMG, a new co-CEO. Also, congrats to Merchants Bank. Merchants Bank added Stephanie Cunningham as Senior Vice President and Chief Compliance Officer. So, new C suite movement at Merchants Bank. Congrats to Merchants Bank and to Stephanie Cunningham. So, this is some serious additions this week, and we want to say congrats to all of them. And just a quick reminder of what we're doing here every Friday, besides talking about industry intelligence and some other topics. But when we go through these executive wins and we go through new product launches and things, which I'll get to next, make a list, reach out, connect. The congratulations is the easiest icebreaker you'll get. You'll probably get a warm response, and it's a really good strategy to build your network with very well connected women executives in financial services. So that's the hidden agenda. Go out there and connect with these women. Okay, so uh, other wins. We had four women join Athena's Council this week, and I want to say a great big welcome and congratulations. We're super excited to collaborate with these new members. So we have Roberta Peck, welcome. Christine Lauria, welcome. Kelly Egan, we're excited to have you. And Christina Gringa. So welcome to these members of Athena's Council. We're excited to collaborate and work with you, and we could not be happier that you're here in the room. So thank you. Also, Athena's Council member Meg Handy, I think it was yesterday, she announced a new blog, a new newsletter that she's starting. I've already read every issue. I'd suggest you do too. She launched it. It's called Mortgage Megaphone. Get it? Meg Handy Megaphone. And it's a newsletter offering, it's helping loan officers build like a local social media presence. So, local. That is a niche that's super important, and nobody better to listen to about that than Meg Handy. So go subscribe, and I'll drop a link in the comments. Also, watch out for Suha. Suha Zell is going to be speaking at the NBA of Florida. FLYP Network, that is for young professionals. So that's Florida's young cohort, and she's going to be doing a webinar, overcoming imposter syndrome, quieting your inner critic, and leading with confidence. So it's incredibly valuable intel that she's sharing with the young community there at MBA of Florida. Catch it, webinar. Also, watch for Danielle Geyser. She's going to be a panelist, and the name of her talk is Non-QM 3.0, Private Credit, Securitization, and the Borrower Opportunity Traditional Lending Misses. That'll be at the 26th Western Secondary Market Conference. So Western Secondary is coming up. That's a cool session. I would sit in and listen to her. Also, we have a book launch. Congratulations to Emily Campbell. I have not read this yet, but I cannot wait. She authored a book called She Owns the Margin: Demystifying the Economics of Mortgage for Women Who Built This Industry. So I think she's talking about compensation. I'm excited to read that. I'll drop a link to the book, and congratulations on finishing the book, and we're rooting for you. Okay, also, I read about this on LinkedIn. Rate posted that what they say, 3 or 4, no, I think 3 of the top 10 women originators in the country are at Rate. So we want to say congratulations to Jennifer Beeston, Risha Kilaru, Beef Gobadian, and Lisa Griffith. They were named to the Scotsman's Guide 2026 top women originators list. And okay, that's 4 out of the top 10 are at Rate. What are they doing over there? That's interesting. We need to watch that. So congratulations to those women and to Rate for having such a incredible bench of talent there. Okay, so congratulations also to our friend Laura Escobar. Laura, I think it was last week, she Cotality recognized her at their annual user conference, I think, and she received the Dr. Frank Nothoff Memorial Impact Award. So there was a lot of buzz on LinkedIn about this. Laura Escobar is an absolute icon. And no one better deserving. She is truly a giver. So, congratulations, Laura, and well done, Cotality. It's an excellent choice. Also, congratulations and watch out for Monique Schuler. Monique is an Athena's Council member. We're super proud of her. She sat on a panel with entrepreneurs about her career journey last week at a group called Build in Tulsa. And so hopefully we can get a recording of that. And she will be speaking at OpsCon 2026. That's in Atlanta, August 3rd and 4th. She's talking about modern system implementations, operational risk, and AI in mortgage technology. She's representing Vericore Systems, her own company, and we're excited to see her in Atlanta. And hey, if you're in operations or compliance and you're anywhere near Atlanta or would like to go to that conference, please reach out to us, DM us. We have coupon codes that will help you save on registration. And we want to connect you with other Athena's Council members who are going to be in Atlanta at OpsCon in August 3rd and 4th. So that's coming up next week. Okay. Also, another conference appearance that I would catch if I were you. If you're going to the Housing Wire AI Summit, it's on August the 11th. Amanda Tucker will be there speaking on operationalizing AI without breaking the mortgage machine. I haven't heard Amanda Tucker talk on this subject or on this topic before, so I would hit that session if you're going to be at the Housing Wire AI Summit for sure. Also, finally, a big congratulations to Athena's council member Heidi Belnay. She, I think they announced 2 days ago, she's been named the incoming executive director of the Mortgage Bankers Association of New Jersey. So, congratulations to the MBA of New Jersey on your new executive director, Heidi Belnay. You're going to do incredible things with her. Her leadership is special, and she has a lot of momentum and excellent relationships, and we're super proud of her. Congratulations, Heidi. We're excited to see what you do there. Okay, so now I've covered the new roles and the other wins. It's been a great week for women in financial services, and I have a guest, a special guest today. She just wrote a book, and it's sort of ironic that we're covering these wins and these promotions because what we're going to talk about with Nicole really adds a completely different dimension to the accomplishments of women in financial services. I'll bring her out now. Her name is Nicole Johnston. She's written a book that was just released in March, I believe. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I am well. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. We talked about this a little bit in the description, but just tell us, what is your book about, and what are we going to talk about today?
So, my book is called Taboo Topics, Things Women Should Talk About But Don't. And I took a little bit different approach on this book. So, there's 24 chapters, and every chapter is its own topic, its own vignette. So, you can decide you want to start in chapter 3, chapter 11. It's all good. But one of the things that I hate, I am a voracious reader, and I really hate reading business books that do a very good job of detailing the problem and then giving you absolutely no solutions. So you have to go find a book to solve the book. I really intentionally wanted to make sure that when I brought up the topic that I gave very clear next steps, ways to address all of that. So it's just designed around things that affect women in the workplace and at home, but it's just making us aware of things that we probably don't recognize we shouldn't be as tolerant of.
Okay, so one thing that you and I talked about that just like broke my heart and has made me angry for 3 days. Let's talk specifically about the phrase non-promotable labor. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that today.
Okay, so let's get everybody on the same page so they know what we're talking about. In an average full-time job, you're going to work roughly 2,000 hours in a year. Now, when we talk about non-promotable labor, that is the planning of the meetings, fixing someone's PowerPoint, ordering the lunches, knowing who's allergic to what. It's all necessary work, but it's also work that disproportionately falls on women. And it falls on women to the tune of 200 hours in a year. That is 5 weeks of work, of doing stuff that will not move your career ahead. And the way this affects you is that 200 hours gets added on top of your full-time job. So you're already stressed and you got more on top of it. Or that's 200 hours of work completely not dedicated to work that affects the P&L, that affects the career discussion strategies, that affects the promotion discussions, all of that. And that 200 hours, most women don't even recognize they're doing it. Now, to add insult to injury, if you're a mom, there's almost another 550 hours of that at home. So you're looking at about 750 hours of work that goes unnoticed unless it doesn't happen. It will not advance your career, and it ends up sucking all of your energy out because you're always maintaining things for everyone else.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're a mom and a wife, what did you say? How many hours?
It's another 520 hours specifically.
Okay, so let's just assume the best case scenario. Let's assume the 200 hours, right? So that's 5 weeks of work.
Yep.
5 weeks of work. So when you think about that in the context of the women that we have just talked about, the achievements and the accomplishments that they have earned, and the other wins, I mean, I just personally named 30 women. These women did these accomplishments while losing 5 weeks of work, just off the top.
Yep.
And so whenever I think about the I mean, okay,
Yes.
so how do we how do you in your book, you talk about a non-promotable labor detox.
Mhm.
What does that look like?
It first of all, as with anything in the world, it starts with awareness because there are things that in your job you just took on that somehow became part of your role, part of what you did that have nothing to do with your actual role or job. And so I need people to be aware of what's happening. And to get that awareness, you got to track it. So for a week, write down literally everything that you did, whether it is picked up a copy for Bob while I was at the printer, all the way to, registered my kids for softball again, if you want to include your home life, or it is the yet again reviewed someone else's deck that I didn't get credit for. Yet again, every single thing. And the reason that you need to do that is because women only recognize about a third of the mental labor they're actually doing. And there's no way to start correcting it if you're not aware of the scope. And same as Molly said, once you start getting aware, you're going to get a little angry that you recognize all of the labor you're giving other people that's helping them in their promotion discussions, but it's not helping you.
Okay, so if we just a couple of ideas, if we role play like the deck, for
Mhm.
example. If, someone comes to me and says, "Oh, Molly, you're just so good at creating these decks. Can you put this together for our presentation at this?" What would be a protective but professional and friendly, like, how would you handle that?
First of all, thank them. Thank you so much. That is so great that you recognize my skills here. I'd be happy to help you improve yours. So why don't you take a first cut at it and then we can talk about it and I can give you some ideas. Do
Mm,
not
that's
take the ownership, own the knowledge and say how you will help them build theirs.
okay. One more thing I want to talk about that you and I talked about a couple days ago, and that was it's really easy to fall into this trap. It's so easy. And the women who are in this situation far outnumber the women I know who are not. I know a few rock stars who,
Mhm.
But when you're thinking about when you first start in a new position, or let's say you're new in the industry, what you want to do is raise your hand. You want to be helpful. Sure, I can do that. Sure. Like you want to prove value. You want to be a team player when you first begin in a role or when you first begin in the industry. So, what advice would you give to women so that they're not building this trap for themselves from the beginning?
There's 2 things on that. One is not only do we want to be helpful, society expects us to be helpful. They expect women to raise their hand. They expect women to fill the void. And so there's this double-sided piece of it of you think you should do it and you also know society expects you to do it. So first of all, be aware of that because otherwise you might just be stepping into a lot of stuff that you don't need to. So that's step 1. Step 2, watch what the guys do. What are they volunteering for? What are they stepping up for? What are they saying? Oh, yeah, I would like to, because they unintentionally do a really good job of demonstrating the work that will help accelerate careers. Pay attention to what they're doing. And for your first 90 days, commit to nothing. Don't sign up for anything because at that point, I mean, make a joke. Hey, I'm still trying to find the bathrooms. I can't do that yet. Whatever it is, but don't sign up for anything for your first 90 days because you need to understand the lay of the land. You need to understand what's rewarded. You need to understand who it matters to be around. You need to get all of that figured out before you start stepping in. So give yourself permission to say no for 90 days, because you've got to figure things out before you figure out, oh my God, I signed up to help a guy that everybody hates. You don't want that. Give yourself space. So just don't sign up for anything for that first 90 days and come up with a few different funny responses of, oh my gosh, you work here? I didn't even know that. You know what? I would love to connect with you and talk about these opportunities once I get my arms better wrapped around it. Just very kindly, but with a smile, push back, but don't take anything on for 90 days.
That is brilliant advice. Okay. Will you hold your book up again? And I put a link in the chat. Taboo Topics. Just real quick, what are some other topics in there?
Well, I talk about anything from menopause to the mental load to menstruation to pregnancy to lots of different things, but there's a lot of things in there that are through the work lens. So like how to optimize policies, how to talk about your compensation, because a lot of women don't understand the difference between short-term and long-term compensation. So I break that down in there. So there's just lots of different topics in there. And some are personal. So like there's a whole chapter in there about self-care, because a lot of women overlook components of self-care because they think, oh, it's just taking a bath. Yes. And there's a lot more to it. It's financial self-care, it's mental self-care, it's all of these kinds of things. And it's just really about how we can bring our best self in total forward. And that means, maybe not doing some of the stuff we have been doing, or maybe pick differently and really making sure it's in service of what we truly want and desire.
Thank you so much, Nicole. What you're doing is making an impact, helping so many women, and we appreciate your time with us today.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to find me, you can find me at my website, which is www.innate-power.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with anyone. So I think you guys are also doing brilliant work, because we need more women in all aspects of STEM, especially in finance.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, Nicole. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Molly.
Bye. Oh my. We got a lot to talk about, don't we? After that, a big thank you to Nicole. And now I'm going to bring out Dana for our industry intelligence segment. How are you, my friend?
Happy Friday. I've got my Athena's Council t-shirt on today.
That's a very limited edition.
It is. I feel very lucky that I have one of these. So I thought, I'm gonna bring out a little goodie to share some intelligence today. This particular segment is really thanks to Audra, right? She had a specific ask for some market intel last week. And so this one has been fun for me to dig in and dive into, most specifically because I use y'all like people drink coffee, right? Like that is just a Texas thing. So we're going to talk about Y'all Street. And that's really just a nickname for Dallas's emergent as what I'm seeing as a really serious national financial hub, right? It's just the Texas spin on Wall Street. But there are some major institutions, including Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, BlackRock, Charles Schwab. They have all made some significant commitments in Dallas in the recent years. So I don't know how many people know, because it's really been kind of almost underplayed, in my opinion, about the launch of the Texas Stock Exchange. That happened July 6th, so more than 3 weeks ago at this point. But cool fact, it has been the most well-capitalized exchange entrant ever to file with the SEC. They raised over $250 million from 82 financial entities to launch the Texas Stock Exchange. So should be something we should be watching. Yeah, I think it definitely is, right? So listen, why do we think this maybe matters to mortgage lending as a whole? Well, I think that we're starting to see some capital markets are shifting south, right? Securitizations, MBS tradings, warehouse lending will increase a Texas footprint as a major institution, deepening the Dallas presence. Corporate relocations, right? That adds demand side pressure. More households means more purchase mortgages, more construction to perm loans, refinance volume, and certainly that will be across Texas markets. The Dallas Fed, and everyone, I think everyone, in case you don't know, right? There's not just one Fed, right? There's different regional Fed groups that are a part of that. And so the Dallas Fed flagged a real nuance worth knowing that I want to share with everyone is wealth-driven price appreciation is outpacing local incomes in parts of DFW. So Texas trails only New York and Atlanta in mortgage delinquency rates. Volume is up, but the underwriting discipline matters. And why that's really important here in Texas is we have one of the fastest foreclosure rates. Like we don't mess around. Even though the homestead and the protections that we have from an equity perspective are some of the strictest in the country, we also, you miss your mortgage payment around here, right? There's going to be consequences. So a domestic competitor to the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, that creates new MBS and capital markets dynamics. So a Texas-based institution can grow their balance sheet, demand for mortgage-backed securities originated in-state could rise, and that could benefit lenders with a Texas first footprint, but also any lenders that are doing business here in Texas. So I think there's a lot of really interesting nuances about the Texas Stock Exchange launch, Y'all Street as a whole. But then I wanted to share some commentary that I picked up across different stories. Most of the commentary, as you probably can imagine, is coming from finance and banking professionals in framing Y'all Street as really a talent and relocation story, not yet a mortgage story. And that kind of makes sense, right? If you think about the stock exchange, mortgage is just one piece of that. But the executives that are sharing news about Goldman's Dallas campus expansion, Scotiabank's relocation from North Carolina, that brought in about 1,000 jobs. And of course, the early Texas Stock Exchange listings. As you can probably imagine, founder James Lee has been the most vocal in regards to active voices, and his tone is pretty uniformly bullish on Dallas and long-term financial capital coming into Dallas, staying in Dallas, and really increasing mortgage and financial services here in Texas. Some other, cool quotes. It appears the markets needed a bit more Southern hospitality. That came from Eli Susser over at Goldman's. He's an analyst there, and I thought that was just such a fun way for him to put it. Kevin Kanoki, who's connected to the Texas Stock Exchange Group, noted that the Y'all Street corridor around Clyde Warren Park as the emerging epicenter, referencing remarks from the Texas governor and the Texas Bankers Association convention. So listen, this isn't just a little bitty kind of soft thing that's happening in Texas. I know Texas is big. I know we do big things here in Texas, but this kind of really hasn't been some really big announcement, right? We've not been talking a lot about it. We haven't seen a lot of news feeds about it. It's not really being picked up, from a LinkedIn perspective, though that's about to change because I'm going to be starting to put some, posts about this out there. If you're looking for some interesting news feeds that you want to do a little bit of your own research, definitely recommend going to the USA Today article that got published on July 7th, the Texas Stock Exchange live in Dallas. Y'all Street takes on Wall Street. Noting, lighter listing regulations compared to the New York Stock Exchange as a key differentiator, right? There are nuanced differences between these markets. Another fun one, Yahoo Finance, The Guardian put out, the world is choosing Texas. Is Yall Street taking over as the new financial capital of America? So coverage highlights the migration of BlackRock, Goldman, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Charles Schwab, Citadel, and Fortress as backers. And then the Embry Partners REB Business Online published an analysis on the Texas Stocks Exchange impact on housing demand. So I would definitely recommend going and checking out that online publication. But listen, right, I think from a general sentiment or things that I would want to be, watching for and understanding is that the overall sentiment is broadly bullish, right? Dallas boosters, financial institutions, Texas state government, they're all aligned in framing Yall Street as an opportunity. Skeptic narrative, because listen, we can't just all talk about, what's great and wonderful in Texas. The skeptic narrative centers on infrastructure gaps, potential housing supply, public transport, or transit, right? In Texas, we all drive. Like, we love to drive in Texas, me being one of them, right? And so, traditionally our cities have not really been built out with any significant public transit. And so whether Dallas can absorb that workforce growth with significant affordability strain, I think that's a skeptic narrative that's, worth giving a little bit of attention to. The Dallas Fed delinquency data, that certainly adds some credible counterweight to just the pure optimism. So while it signals the volume growth, what I've been talking about in virtually every conversation that I have with my own team is the underwriting discipline will really matter as this continues to grow and go forward. Among mortgage real estate professionals, awareness is starting to grow, but the professional position seems to be lagging. So the conversation is happening in mainstream media before it's actually happening inside the industry. Not necessarily uncommon, right? When we think about social media these days and things getting out ahead of actually things happening. So I'm kind of understanding where that narrative is. And listen, it's going to create some hype. I'm hoping that this market intelligence is going to create some hype and interest people into going to do a little bit more market research about Yall Street as a whole. So listen, I think conversations are warm. I think it's a fun topic to bring up, whether you're running a team, whether you're in overall financial services or specific to mortgage. Like, what do you know about this? Have you heard about this? Because I think there's a lot of underplaying. But if you're like me and in Texas and have deep Texas roots, not only from living here, but following the Texas market, I think this is something that is really worthy of watching.
Some new opportunities.
Yeah, potentially a lot of new opportunities, right? And listen, selfishly, in Texas jobs, right? Housing needs in Texas. So I think it creates, certainly some atmosphere around that. But listen, healthy competition, good thing, right? New York Stock Exchange has held the leaderboard position, NASDAQ, for a really long time. So the fact that there's been able to be a whole nother stock exchange created, right, is really telling, I think, to where investors are and what they might be looking for from differentiators.
Thank you, Dana. God, one question Audra asked, and look what we got. Extremely valuable.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, this segment is so much fun for me, not just because I get to go learn new things. That's always a bonus, but bringing them, into our viewing audience, into Athena's Council, into LinkedIn, as a whole. I think it just makes us stronger as a community, right? Like it's kind of like the things that you don't know can hurt you. Well, the things that you do know potentially could as well if you don't have the right information. So again, thank you for allowing me to chair this intelligence group and bring it live Fridays and push out. We'll see what next week brings. Like, the mortgage market never fails to bring me something interesting to watch.
especially with these conferences coming up. I mean, we're getting ready to get into full on fall conference season. That's when a lot of big announcements are made. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
We will. We will.
Thank you, Dana. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody. We'll see